Welcome back to Bash Bros in episode 52 of Notorious Pro Wrestling, the TEW Let's Play series where we find out what exactly would happen if Conor McGregor started his own wrestling promotion. It is the Obsession pay-per-view. Last time you guys were here was just last week, and this is kind of how the show panned out. It was a very good show. High points being the main event with Jay Lethal and Mark Andrews. Not only that, but a nice wee pre-show from our champion Penta defeating Shane Haste. Only real disappointment was Eddie Dennis on the mic, but it's okay. We'll forgive him this time. 61 rated show overall. Now, a wee bit of an incident has occurred since you guys were last here, and that is our originally intended match between Zia and Viper was going to happen at the pay-per-view. However, Viper, due to her brand spanking new WWE commitments, can't wrestle tonight. So what we are going to do is I have a backup match set up for Zia tonight, and she can cut a promo on Viper saying, yeah, fuck off and stay in WWE then. But yeah, so that's really the only bit of news that has happened since you guys have last been here. So as always with a pay-per-view show, I'm going to run down the match card and the storylines going into each of the matches. Zia Brookside joined forces with Dynasty, turning on her once friend Viper. She now has a vendetta against all things nice and sparkly, as she has been taking aim at the lucky go happy babyfaces of the women's division. She has taken out the Irish unicorn, Amy Alonzi. She has taken out the Queen of Strong Smile, Rachel Ellering, and she has taken out rookie Angel Hayes. Viper then stepped in to try and stop her friend from being a bit of a dick, essentially, and their match was scheduled for tonight. However, due to conflicts with her WWE schedule, Viper can no longer make her appearance, and now another happy-go-lucky babyface has taken her place, as Session Moth Martina will take on Zia Brookside tonight at the pay-per-view. The Proper 12 tournament continues tonight with two matchups. Our first matchup, announced just last Thursday, is Jay Lethal versus Carlos Romo. Jay Lethal has been impressed with the efforts put in by Carlos, who after losing his first match is fighting back to try and recoup his P12 campaign. Can the cocky youth Carlos Romo dethrone the franchise player Jay Lethal tonight? And the other P12 matchup, flip that coin around, because Ace Austin will take on Jonathan Gresham. Cocky Ace Austin has promised a clean sweep, and he is just a few matches away from delivering that promise. But now Ace Austin, your mother's favourite wrestler, has to take on the purest wrestler in the game, Jonathan Gresham. Grado has been somewhat courting Riho into joining for the Grado Talent Agency. Whilst Maki Ito has protested this, Riho went ahead and signed her name on the dotted line. But now, much to her chagrin, Riho's first match as an official member of GTA is against the alpha female tonight. Will we see a bloodbath, or will Riho provide us with the upset? Kings of the North turned face recently, standing up for Ireland and Northern Ireland once the NPW Tag Team Champions Dynasty started to insult the countries. However, they have not been able to dethrone the Tag Team Champs due to the constant interference by the Women's Champion Tessa Blanchard. On February week 2's Wanted, after Tessa stuck her nose in the King's business once more, they said enough was enough and recruited an equaliser. They recruited the Queen of the North, if she's Northern Irish, if not, we may have to change that gimmick. But as of now, the Queen of the North, Rhea O'Reilly. Now with the odds even, can the Kings of the North and Rhea defeat Dynasty in a fair match? Easton Reese turned on Coach Doug after failing to win the NPW title from Penta, which pissed off a lot of people, including Doug's good friends Chris Hero and James Storm. All baying for Reese's blood, Penta came out and then challenged all three men to a fatal 4-way match at the pay-per-view for the Notorious Pro Wrestling Championship, much to the displeasure of the master Jake the Snake Roberts. A divide has been forming between the champ and his master, as Jake seems more obsessed with the title rather than helping Penta retain it. Will this divide cost Penta the championship tonight? We're going to find out, as Chris Hero, Easton Reese and James Storm all look to take the title of Pentagon Jr. in a fatal 4-way match in our main event tonight. So that is our card. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit pissed about WWE right now, and I know fine rightly that I'm in nowhere near a good enough position to fight back against them. But fuck me, I want to do something about them not only stealing Viper from us, but now stopping her from fulfilling her bookings with us. Like, fuck them. Fuck Vince. And fuck that dickhead Nick Khan too. Right, okay. I'm fine. Ranting and raving aside, let's book the show. Sorry, just before we get into the show, here is our Obsession pay-per-view for February 2021 last year. So, kind of interesting to see what we might be looking at. So a 53 is what we got back then, with Zach Gibson versus Easton Reese. I mean, I'd like to think we can beat that pretty easily. James Drake is now obviously in a tag with Zach Gibson. Rob Lynch is no longer with us. Davey Boy's now in a tag with Joe Henning. Jody Fleisch is now in a tag with Rich Swann. Grado's now a part-time wrestler. Ace Austin's still being dope. Kenny Williams and Stevie Boy. Kenny Williams now heel now. He was a face back then. Stevie Boy is just still Stevie Boy. The most interesting thing actually is the Cyborg Wolves and Kings of the North have completely flipped now. So Cyborg Wolves, who are now like Coach Jim, are heels, and Kings of the North are face. And Easton Reese then obviously is a heel. He was a heel here, and he's been a face, and now he's gone back to a heel. And Zach Gibson and James Drake, actually thinking about now, were faces to begin with, and then turned heel in the finals of the tag title tournament. So yeah, always kind of cool to look back of where you've been and where you're going. So 53 is what we have to beat. I don't want to compare us to anyone else. What I want is to just beat our previous record. So 53, that's what we have to beat. Now let's book the show for real. Okay, and we are back, coming at you from Ireland. Yeah, we're back. I think I'll always do my pay-per-views in Ireland just to get the kind of ticket sales and the actual bigger audience, but the TV show will take on the road. Couple of things then to discuss. I was originally going to have Ace versus Grisham because it kind of mirrored the Carlos versus Jay match. However, forgot they have already had their P12 match, so I have Ace versus Mark Haskins instead. Still going to kind of do the post-angle segment that mirror each other with the handshakes thing. Yeah, that was a bit silly on my behalf. Probably should have checked that out beforehand. And then I also put Debbie and Tennille in a tag match against two of our young recruits. Just because they give them a bit of momentum before they properly get into the meat and potatoes of their feud with Martina. Other than that, there's no real issues, so let's start the show. Fingers crossed. So, in a backstage promo on the pre-show, Zia tells Viper to stay in WWE if she knows what's good for her. 46 rated segment, which is okay from Zia. It's pretty okay. Next up, in a pre-show match, Debbie Keitel and Tennille Dashwood defeated Angel Hayes and Kanji in 14 minutes when Debbie pinned Kanji with the Debbie Downer. Tennille was head and shoulders above everyone else, which you can see as she got a 61. Holy shit. Debbie had a 51, which is good. And Kanji and Angel, still not great, but that is why they are jobbers. 48 rated segment overall. Now on to the main show. In a bout that had great heat and decent wrestling, Zia defeated Martina in 15 minutes with the Iconoclasm. Martina had a 58, which is good, and Zia had a 46, which is okay. All in all, a 52 rated match, which is good. Post-match then, Debbie and Tenille attack Martina. Again, this is just a wee continuation of their mini feud they had not too long ago, a month or two ago. But this time, the twist will be that Debbie turns on Tenille. But Debbie obviously still has an axe to grind with Martina anyway, because they're both kind of still one apiece, and they've both humiliated each other by rubbing each other's makeup off. So yeah, it'd be cool to see where this goes. I'm thinking maybe a triple threat between the three women, but I just don't know yet. 54, which is good. Next up, in an exceptional match, Carlos Romo defeated Jay Lethal in 15 minutes by submission. Oh flip. Block A match for P12. Both men had a 64. It was just a bit too short, and I lost 2 points on to go down to 62. Awesome from both men. Awesome. Carlos is great. I just need to remember that he can't do longer than 15 minutes really. And Jay Lethal is just overall fantastic. So really, really strong from both guys. So yeah, so Carlos is now continuing his fight back. He obviously lost his first match against Chris Hero. And now he's clawing and scratching and he wants to win. But if he does win, and Ace Austin wins Block B, then what will happen? Post-match, Jay Lethal offers Carlos Romo the handshake, and he accepts it and shakes Jay's hand. 59 rated segment, which is good. Next up, in a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, Riho defeated Alpha Female in 15 minutes. With a jumping knee attack after a distraction from Maki Ito. Alpha had a 52 and Riho had a 46, and they have great chemistry, so I need to keep that in mind. 49 rated segment. Alpha is kind of like the dark horse of the women's division. She just kind of keeps putting in good matches. Riho with a 46 it's good, but I was kind of expecting more. Yeah, so kind of what would happen in this match is actually Grado would obviously be at ringside, and Maki would distract Alpha Female, allowing Riho to get the win, but she wouldn't know it was Maki that distracted her, and then Grado would then take the credit, being like, oh no, I distracted her for you so you could get the win. Whereas Maki's like, yo, what the fuck, dude? Again, just so that Riho is kind of tricked into thinking, yeah, signing up to GTA was a great choice. So 49, which is okay. Next up, in an exceptional match, Ace Austin defeated Mark Haskins in 15 minutes with a House of Cards. Ace had a 69. Holy shit, dude. Mark Haskins had a 66, which is awesome. All in all, came to a 66 because it was a wee bit too short. Yeah, Ace, what the fuck? Calm down. Holy shit. So Ace is continuing to be really good. Mark Haskins has been awesome since we brought him in too. 66, that's kind of mental. Post-match, Mark Haskins offers Ace the handshake, but Ace rejects it and then turns around to Vicky and tells her to suck it with the DX. Crotch chop. 59 rated segment, which is good. So yeah, just to kind of, this is obviously just a mirror between Carlos and Ace. Carlos has been having, both guys have been having absolute bangers of matches, but the difference is Carlos is earning the respect of his peers, whereas Ace is not. So Carlos has been earning the respect by going out there, and although he's lost clean and he's put up a hell of a match, whereas Ace is going out there, he's winning, but he's either cheating or being a dick about it, or the Will Hobbs thing. So we are seeing parallels between the two guys with slight variations. I suppose I'll discuss it now. My plan is to have Ace get the clean sweep like he promises, and then Carlos to actually claw back to winning Block A, and then having the two face in the finals. And then Ace will turn on Carlos, therefore making Carlos face. And then that'll kind of be a feud going forward. And then Carlos will come back with a new face gimmick and yada yada yada. Then you'll have Will Hobbs, he's kind of stuck in the middle, whereas like being in the group together, he's kind of become friends with Carlos and Ace, and Ace is still paying the bills, or paying his wage technically, because he's their bodyguard. So Will Hobbs will kind of be caught in the middle and like, don't really want to attack you, dude, but I kind of have to because he's paying the bills. So, but that's what my plan for the P12 has been the entire time. 59 rated segment, which is good. Next up, in a bout that had great heat and good wrestling, Rhea O'Reilly and Kings of the North defeated Dynasty in 16-20 when Rhea pinned Tessa Blanchard with a Celtic Cross. Tessa had a 61, Davey had a 55, Joe had a 61, Rhea had a 49, Damien had a 46, and Bonesaw had a 57. Fantastic outings from Tessa and Joe. Good outings from Davey and Bonesaw, and slightly disappointing from Rhea and Damien, though. To be fair, it was Rhea's first match, so we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. All in all, it was a 55 rated match, which seems fair. So Rhea obviously got the pin on the champion, so that'll mean she'll kind of get a title shot in maybe the next pay-per-view, maybe the one after. We'll see. Next up, backstage segment, Penta snatches the belt from Jake and tells him to stay in the back. He's like, you don't think I can do this? You don't think that I can go out there and win this match when I got 3 guys who all want this belt? I don't want that negativity out there. You stay here, I'm taking my belt, and I'm going to go defend it. So that's what he kind of says, and obviously Jake is fucking raging about this. So Penta goes out to his match. 63 segment, which is good. Right, Fatal 4-way. We have 2 god tier workers in Penta and Chris. 1 good worker in James, and 1, he's not bad, but he has been disappointing, worker in Easton. I think this match should get at least a 60. I hope it gets a 60. Let's find out, shall we? 64. I'll take that. I will happily take that. So in a bout that had fantastic heat and great wrestling, Pentagon Jr. defeated Easton Reese, James Storm and Chris Hero in 22-23 when Pentagon pinned Chris Hero with a top rope Styles clash, making this defense number 6 for Penta. Hero had a 65, which is awesome. Reese had a 54, which is good and better than he has been. James Storm had a 58, which is good, and Pentagon had a 65, which is awesome. And I haven't taken Doug off of being Reese's manager, which probably dropped him down a bit. Note to future hands, fucking take Doug away from Easton Reese. That was dumb. Sorry. Anyway, other than that, a 64, which I am more than happy with. That's really, really good. Post-match, Jake takes the belt and hits Pentagon with it. He then turns to Sonico and demands that he sacrifices Pentagon to him, doing the arm breaker thing. Sonico kind of hems and has, because Penta has been good to Sonico. Penta is the reason Sonico turned heel and joined their wee faction, and they have a lot of respect for each other. So Sonico hems and he has, and then Jake kind of goes up to him and says, pretty much along the lines of, look, you've been fantastic with me recently, don't let me down now. But all this hesitating from Sonico is just enough time for the agents to run out and get between Jake, Sonico and Penta. So Penta's kind of still on the ground, knocked out from the belt shot, and the agents kind of fend off the heels. 89 segment, because I had Conor McGregor do a lot of talking. So Paul Tracy also debuted his Arrant heel gimmick, even though he's a friggin' agent, but whatever. So yes, to say, that is it. So officially or unofficially, Penta's now face. I forgot to put in the turn thing, so I'll maybe do that next time. But yeah, that's it. No more Jake and Penta. They have officially split, and Jake will now focus solely on Sonico, so he feels like he can more easily manipulate. But, and this is the big thing, Jake takes the belt with him. So him and Sonico leave with the belt. So even though Penta is still champ, he does not have the belt. I think this will be about a 65 show. 66, just off. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Just kind of looking. So there was no real weakness there. Maybe the Riho and Alpha Female match, but definitely not what I would consider a bad match. Very strong main event. Very strong P12 matches. Yeah, overall super, super happy with that. So news coming out of our pay-per-view then is, just because Pentagon Jr. was a big part of our show, Pentagon Black is leaving the business. So just a little tidbit, since Pentagon Jr. is our current champion. Obsession was said to be awesome, which is nice to see. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins are the SmackDown Tag Champions, winning the belt off of Sami Zayn and Bray Wyatt. What the fuck is going on with the SmackDown Tag Division? Seriously. And then a couple of bits of emails. So Aussie Open's contracts are expiring. They will 100% be renewed. I have no doubt about that. And that Vicky Haskins doesn't think Kanji connects with... Vicky, who the fuck are you to tell me about who... You're a fucking valet? Get the fuck out of here. Pentagon thinks Angel Hayes doesn't get it. Again, Penta, yeah, you're my champ, so you have a bit more of a say, but they are there to learn. They are 22 and 21, I think. They are there to learn and get better, so yeah, they probably don't have it, but it will come to them hopefully. So anyway, we'll maybe look at the P12 while we're here. So here are the current standings for the P12. Carlos Romo and Jay Lethal are currently joint top with 6 points apiece, and then joint second are Chris Hero, Mandrews and Stevie Boy, with Kenny Williams bottom of the pile with 0 points. And then in Block B, Ace Austin is currently top of the pile with 12. Second place then, Mark Haskins with 6. Third place, Sonico with 3, and then James Storm, Jonathan Grisham and Will Hobbs all sitting with no points. Right, that is it for another episode of Notorious Pro Wrestling. You will be back next week where, as always, we will do the Fallout show from our pay-per-view and then go on to discuss the storylines going forward for the next month. If you like this episode, please do consider leaving a like and also subscribing to the Bash Bros channel, where you can see all of our amazing shows. If you have any ideas for storylines, feuds, teams or factions, do put them in the comments below. And with all that being said, I will see you next time on Bash Bros.